Hello YouTube, welcome back to the game. I am Hockmed. I am here with some out of ore. Been a week. Had some stuff come up in real life. It was like excuse, but unfortunately, nothing good. So, as of a couple days ago, by the time you're seeing this, officially been permanently laid off from my job. So I am, at the moment, currently unemployed, which is awesome. Fun in this time of the year. Time of life, you know? But been there before. I've been here before. Most important, stay strong, fight hard, and ain't gonna let this shit knock you down. So unfortunately, the company has downsized, basically subcontract out everything they do. So essentially, it is a company that now I don't really know the point of them. They are a company that pays other companies to do their work for ultimately less money, but I don't think it'll be like that forever, because eventually all said companies are gonna want their cut, or they're gonna realize, why am I a middleman here when I can just do it and take it over? So unfortunately, it's not gonna work. It's gonna fail for them, which, too bad, not my problem. So I've been throwing out some resumes, doing some stuff, trying to figure out the next step in this beautiful journey we call life. But one thing I definitely been sitting thinking about is I don't want to stop YouTube. I've enjoyed it. It's been a nice change of pace. I'm also sick on top of everything, if you can hear that. Went to bed early the other night, and they're like, I was like, man, you went to bed already? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel right. Woke up just sick as could be. So that was fun. But yeah, so I'm unemployed. Let's go. But I'm gonna keep sticking with YouTube videos as well. I mean, it's obviously not my full-time job. This ain't gonna pay for the bills and stuff like that. So we're gonna continue to push on that. All right, sorry, I adjusted the camera a little bit. I moved it. I had it off to like an angle before, and then with work, I gave back monitors. I took them down to give them back to them. That they were theirs, not my monitors. And then they came to get my work computers and stuff. They said they just want, the laptop and the computers, everything else just keep, which makes sense. They ain't got, they're 3-4 years old. They ain't got no reason to keep that stuff. So I moved my camera back up kind of above my main monitor, off a little bit to the side. So you may see me looking over here a lot. I'm used to my camera being there, so I'm kind of working. But anyway, yeah, so that's where I'm at in life. I've been here before. Like I said, I lost a job back 2000, and I think airport job. I did facility there, and at that point, I lost pretty much everything that I owned in my life, minus my wife, which I gave up later. Good move. And my daughter, and like a car or two, I think. So, and I was really low at that point. I'm nowhere near this. My mind is nowhere near where it was back in that time. Much better, much stronger. Only nice thing is now I get a chance to, much as I hate saying it, start over again. As you get older, starting over just a little bit harder and harder. I'm gonna go grab that other excavator. Gets harder and harder, right? Because as you get older, you're harder to, I think, at least how I feel, a little harder to people wanting to hire you when they can go younger. But I don't know. That might just be me, obviously thinking wrong. Looking at this, I don't think I'm gonna get you out of here easy. yeah, okay, we're just going to use the little guy. I think by the time I build a little ramp like over there and drive this thing around, I could just have it done. But you know, it gives me a chance to try to approach some things differently. Like I said, luckily I got an awesome support system with my wife. She's Since I've met her, she has been my best friend, and you know, luckily my wife as well. So I got that going for me. You know, they're paying me for the next like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. You know, I guess severance pay. Oh, here we're gonna pay you for a couple weeks. You know, whatever. And then hopefully unemployment if I don't find something in time. Like I said, I have applied for a couple jobs already. I'd love to stay in the tech industry. That's what I've always been passionate about, what I've always loved doing. Whether it's building computers, working on computers, helping people with computers. Always been something that I've loved to do. But ideally like to stay in that. But again, the problem is I kind of screwed up and I should have learned my lesson, you know, at that airport job. I'm very knowledgeable. I learned very quick. Stuff like that. But I don't really have any certificates, anything that really I need. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. Back in the day, experience won all. You know, it was all about the experience. Why are you not turning? Just be hung up a little bit. You know, experience is what they wanted. Actually, that's not running. I could just... Oh, nope, I don't want to do that. You know, experience would win. Companies would much rather have... Easy. Alright, let's see if I can't get this unloaded. Get this kind of positioned in a little bit better way. Anyway, man, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. My mind's, you know, everywhere. To say it's not scary or not worried, no, that'd be a lie. Like, who wouldn't be, you know, scared or nervous? Like, this is, you know, a job is your livelihood and all this and that. And I should have seen it coming. I knew that the company was going to go down this route of kind of downsizing, outsourcing, yada, yada, yada. But to be fair, I was told that I was part of this plan. You know, and the next hardest thing is to look at, you know, like anything, like a breakup or anything. That's what it is. You know, when I went and interviewed for this position, or you interview for any position, it's not just them interviewing you for the job. Like, it's also you interviewing them to put your, you know, your trust in your time and into them as well. Like, you know, sure, they you know, want to make sure you can do the job or that you're a good hire, whatever the case might be. But when I interview, you know, and I'm selling myself, I'm expecting the company to sell themselves to me. Because ultimately, this was the last, I don't know, just over 5. I think December was 5 years. So this was half a decade of my life that I put into this company where, you know, ultimately, you hope for the best. You hope that this company is going to be something that can be long-term. I don't like switching jobs. I never have. I'm loyal. I'm dedicated when it comes to the company I choose to work for multiple reasons. But, you know, they're essentially become, you know, your family, your livelihood, and when they succeed, you succeed. Fortunately, this time it didn't work out. You know, and then it really, you know, makes you second guess yourself. Like, what could have I done different? You know, I mean, I've had the owner tell me personally to my face, I was probably the 3rd best decision he ever made in his company. How do you let that go then? If I'm an employee or an employer or an owner or a boss, and I tell somebody that you are the third best thing I've ever done in my company. And you got to think, there's a lot of milestones that you can do in a company in the time frame that it's been there. And not to mention, I was probably one of the cheapest employees there. Like, I didn't get paid what my position would get paid, and I was okay with that. I understood it. I didn't have the certificates. I didn't have the experience, but I know how to get it and how to find it, and I learned a lot through my 5 years there that I would have never learned otherwise. I did it on my own. Like, he was really big on automation and wanting to use technology to advance the company. And I'm like, yeah, down for it. So what I did, I looked at the programs that we had. Obviously we were a big Microsoft user, power users, and we had Power Automate. So guess what? I took it upon myself to go learn it, build stuff. The company, basically it's a medical billing company, but they had their own file share, and the clients would have to log into this, log into that, open this up, drop it into a folder, and then they had scripts and stuff that moved it over, and yada yada yada. Just not very efficient, not very easy. We were always getting calls from the clients. This is when I first started. With passwords not working, needing resets, and all this and that, and it was just a pain in the butt. So I looked at what we had and said, we got SharePoint. Why are we not utilizing SharePoint? It's there. Oh. And that's what I did. Sorry, I'm going to try to make sure I mute for every little cough. Like I said, I'm on the mend now, but it's like the getting over the sickness, the drainage part, that's what's the worst. Itchy throat and stuff like that. So I went through and, developed SharePoint for them and got it all set up, and all our clients went through there, and it was a one login friggin' thing, and it just worked beautiful. And then I used Power Automate to move it between their SharePoint sites and ours, and moved it by names and dates, and I learned so much, and it was awesome. Don't think I'll find a job where I'll utilize that. I don't know. I'm going to try, but definitely not in my area that I've found. So just kind of be slapped in the face, basically, and be told that, yeah, you're no longer, we're making, the company's getting smaller. Like, I don't know. I had a lot I wanted to say, and a lot that my values wouldn't let me say. Because at the end of the day, they'll get what they got. And anybody that sticks with that company that's left now, anybody that stays there, rightfully thinking that this company isn't going to go anywhere but further down, fooling themselves, and they're going to put themselves in the same situation. I would tell everybody in that company right now, I would start putting out resumes and find a job, because since I've been, I went there in my interview, he told me about this 5-year plan, with the company. Sounded great. All smoke and mirrors, apparently. But nothing was ever done to achieve any of them 5-year plans. I thought, the owner of this company, he was from another country, from Scotland. I held him in high regards, how he ran his company, especially when I started, the things he did. I was like, this is how all companies should be ran. Just everything about it, and all just very quickly turned into I guess I was wrong. But, it's one thing to, like, if I sit here and I'm like, oh man, I guess I could have worked a little harder on this, or I could have did more of this. Maybe, maybe that. But when you're fired or laid off or permanently laid off, whatever you want to call it, it has nothing to do with job performance. It just has to do with decisions that they think is going to make the company more money, which, like I said, they're not. I guess it is what it is. But yeah, they've been downsizing since I started. They've gotten smaller. Nothing 5-year plan has come into play. I even let him know. I think it was about 6 months ago when we had our conversation, when I talked to him about this. He told me his big plan and all this and that, and let me know that Give me his word that I am part of this plan. Well, word means about as much as the next owner in this freaking world. And sorry if you're own a company and you're good and you're right. Fortunately, like everything in life, the bad sours the good, There's 10,000 good police officers, but the one bad one next for all of them, same kind of. So say I'm a little salty. I am. I'm salty. I'm pissed, and don't know what I'm gonna do next. Where I'm gonna go from. I have some ideas. I don't know if it would pan out or not. So yeah. Anyway, that's what's going on with my life. How's your day going? But but at the end of the day, we all have problems. We all have different problems. We all have different ways to solve them. Mine currently is to not lose myself. Do not let this beat me down, and try to take what I've learned and hopefully be able to apply it somewhere else. Ultimately, ideally, the best thing I wish I could do is just own my own company and be done with it. Let me make the decisions. Let me do it. Let me be a fair boss and that. The funny thing is too is this gentleman's father-in-law ran a billing company, big billing company, millions of dollars, huge company. He didn't outsource shit and he was able to do it. So apparently, unfortunately, I got in on the wrong medical billing company because the other one was definitely successful and didn't need to go the route. I'm pretty sure he gave up. He's been distant lately. We used to have meetings and quarterly meetings with everybody. He'd keep us up to date, what was happening with the company, just all that good old stuff you like to see. At the end of the day, yeah. Never shit. Waste my time, and that's how it goes. So yeah. So now just getting back up, right? Like, gonna get down, I'm gonna get low. I'll probably depressed here for a little bit. It's definitely not something I like to go through. Like anybody likes to go through it. You have plans, you have expectations, especially as a man, right? Like, whether it's just me or my generation, or if it's still like this in the current generation, I don't know. I don't have any sons. But like my wife don't need me, right? Like she don't need my income. She don't need my support, like money wise. Like she don't need it. She's good. She's set. But regardless of which, it kind of falls onto a man, and it has nothing to do with men don't think women can do it, or men are better than women. It has nothing to do with any of that. As myself, as I see myself, my job is to protect, support, be there, for my wife, for my daughters, for my kids. That's my job. And something like this really hurts that part of I'm gonna say a man inside. At least it does for me. Like I said, it takes me back to like the last time this happened, and I lost my house and all that. Moved back in with my mom, with my now ex-wife and daughter. And I remember my daughter bringing me Monopoly money, saying, "Hey, is this enough to buy the house back, or can we get the house back, or something like that?" And that just I've never bit my lip and tongue harder and waited for her to leave the room just to start bawling, because that's the kind of stuff that makes you feel like a failure. And that's the sad thing, is it doesn't even matter that we're not gonna lose our house. We're not gonna lose anything from that. Yeah, we're gonna lose a vacation, we're not going to go on vacation. You know, me and my wife ain't going to go get away and, you know, be able to enjoy ourselves, you know, whatever. That's just luxuries of life. We'd both rather much, you know, come home to a house than go on vacation and not have anything to go home. But as a man, that falls on me, and mentally it doesn't need to, but it does. Just who I am, how I was raised. You know, I'm the one that will take the bullet for anybody in my friends or family circle, and probably strangers. You know, you are a male or a man, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. The hardest thing to do is not bottle it up, but at the same time, that's what we do as men. But actually, there's a line from Good News, Shabuzi, that heard absolutely, you know, love it. Like, nobody knows what I'm going through, but the devil wouldn't walk in my shoes. That is pretty much every man, I think, known to exist. Just how we're raised, how we're built, and fortunately, as much as it sucks, especially when it doesn't need to be that way, that's just the way it is. You could probably go to any man, and if you had a potion and you gave it to him and said, "Hey, what's wrong?" or "Hey, what's bothering you?" I guarantee there's a list of shit that would just come out. And maybe not. Maybe this is just me. Maybe it's how I do with stuff. But if I had a feeling, pretty much any male in here that may be watching this is going to go, "Amen. Yep. Amen. That is how it is. I need to be strong when people around me can't be, or I need to be strong so they don't have to." Right. But yeah, so yeah, this whole episode here of me digging and trying to set up my full return system turned into this. So sorry if you're not enjoying it, but at least I get to talk, right? Like, sure, I'm going to talk to, I don't know, we'll see, 20 to maybe a couple hundred people. That's more than I usually talk to, without a doubt. So at the end of the day, ain't like I'm making money off it. Well, I'd love to do this, you know, forever and make content and grow and become better at what I do so you guys enjoy it more. But at the end of the day, I'm playing games, which is what I love to do. It's always been my escape. I think it's an escape for a lot of people. And if I can get some shit off my chest during it, I think that's a bonus, right? All right. So let's see here. I think we definitely need to go over more. We're just going to dig this out by hand, aren't we? So yeah, so anyway, all that to say that I don't plan on being done with YouTube. You may notice a few less videos a week, just depending on, one, if I get a new job, you know, what time I'm getting home, or working on the weekends, or, you know, whatever it takes, kind of thing. But I'm still gonna be here and try to make some content for you, mainly because I enjoy playing games. But anyway, just to catch up, I am going to... What I'm trying to do here is, if you didn't watch the last few episodes, I was down there working in the pit, and I left the pass-through open. Then I had a huge pile of coal mess here. Last episode, we cleaned that up and started this. This is going to be how I unload the coal from the system. So right now, a lot of this is going to be tidied up and adjusted better Right now, coal comes down, it splits off. Some half goes into the coal generator, and the other half goes to the storage. Well, I left this storage open, that pass through, and it all spilled out on the ground. So I am doing what I originally planned on doing, is putting this here. So if I need to, like, if this starts filling up, I need to sell it off, I can back my dump truck up through here, turn the pass through on, it'll come down. Now when I pull my truck away, it'll just fall into the belt and cycle right back up into the system. I'm going to drop it hopefully right here, that way it doesn't split it in half again, and it'll just cycle around there until I come up here and turn the pass through. So I won't have to worry about leaving this on or off by accident and draining stuff and all that. And it means I need to go a little bit more over. Fortunately, I think I'm best off just digging this by hand, as slow and painful as that might be. Dig this right up to the last second here. I was hoping we'd get the dozer update here today. This is a Friday I'm recording, so I was hoping to get that today, but I don't think that's gonna happen. If it does, it ain't gonna happen till later. Definitely ain't happening in time for this episode. All right, so let's box this in. Need to make sure this is at least accessible down here, right? Let's just throw these up now. That way I know right where I'm going. Should work, I hope. Like I said, we'll definitely have to go back and throw stairs up. Stuff like that as we go. Definitely a slow process. I mean, I could put some flooring up there and probably drive that up here and get to this. I don't know if it's worth the time. We'll be there pretty quick, I think. Should be good, right? Yeah, that should work. Hopefully we got everything we need to build this up. And I'm pretty sure, don't solar panels like work without the sun hitting them, or no? Can't remember. If they do, we might just throw a solar panel down here and like hide it, just because I'm sick of having to run so much different power cords, because we can't, kind of have like a main power feed and like branch it off. But we'll see. I don't remember if we can or not. Played quite a few games with solar panels, and sometimes they get confused on which ones are which. You can do what in. Alright, almost. this. Now we know right where to clear off for sure. Okay, that hurt for a second, but ultimately I think that worked out better. Ugh. All right. So what do we have on us? Do we have anything we need? We have an elevator. Do we have any floor? Yes. Yes, we do have a floor. I forgot about that. I don't think I had enough room, did I? Let's see here. Do I have left and right? No, I didn't. That's right, because I needed to be over one more. Which is fine. I think I have that cleared for it. For the most part, anyway. Let's see. I forgot about the elevators and how they work. What if... you up? Let's try to think this through here. I want to make it that freaking simple. What am I looking at? 4. I mean, all of this will be hidden mainly, right? Yeah. So, do have some room down there just in case. And then... yeah, then this can be all floor right across the top. I'll leave that there, obviously, so it can come up We could always put some slopes down there once we get them, like roof pieces, just to help cover that up. And then all I need is a chute. I don't see one on me. I should have some, all right. I hope I have a chute. Yes, right there. Ugh. On a chute right there. Do I have? A generator, don't want a generator. All right, let's dump all these off. I think I'm good with those. Just throw that in there for now. We still have to go through and get the whole steel side of stuff set up. Throw this here for now. How about the bottom? Maybe I don't. I thought I had, solar. I definitely don't see a solar. We do got some of those. I don't see a input either. Make sure I'm not missing it here. No. All right, so we'll need to get an input. I think for now, that should work to there. I mean, ultimately, right, if I... All right, so the coal will come into here. And then this will be obviously powered here eventually. Right through here, it'll spit out, it'll go up, come around, and it should drop back into the system. Hopefully. That is the plan. Let's turn you off. Let's get you up out of the way here. Need more floors. We need more floors and walls. Like I said, this is all going to be redone. This whole strip here is going to come in, you know, more on point with, you know, northwest, northeast, southwest. Just we're not ready for it yet. I'm still thinking about getting like a little sub plant down there that maybe will separate the dirt and all the materials and send it up here. That way the system, like, you know, if we load it from there, it's going to come up here with no dirt, so we have to worry about it here, but we can still load from this plant anywhere else. Like I said, I'm eventually going to open this up to multiplayer, and this is going to be a dual, thing. Like, we'll have some friends in here and community members, or we're just going to, do some digging. So, we might be able to load up from down there. We may be doing a project over there, or over there, and they can dump here, and it's still gonna filter it the proper way. But I think if we do that, half of it's cleared up down there when it drops in, then it'll speed it up. So we'll just get that fired back up just to make sure. Kinda while I'm here, might as well just finish kind of cleaning up some of this plant where this happened how many episodes ago. See, I looked over there at the camera, that's not there. Need to put like a little bright marker on it so I remember it. This has been here for quite a few episodes. Underneath is still packed. Jesus. Man. We're doing a cleanup episode, might as well clean it up. All right. Let's run into town. Let's go buy ourselves an input. Probably just like a 1X. I don't really need anything big for any reason. Like, it's just to cycle through. It can take as long as it wants. It'll be running 100% of the time, so I guess the only time it'd be a problem is if I'm unloading the coal, and I drive away and come back, waiting for it to cycle. Hey, big boy. Well, we still gotta fix that. I'm excited for the new dozer update. God, my fingers are crossed that it is everything that we've all been hoping for. I'm super excited to try it. Okay, so we need factory conveyor power. Let's just get a 3X and let's grab. Ooh, how much power am I gonna need? Let's grab that. Let's just grab that. We still got to finish this bridge too, for crying out loud. So yeah, I'm really excited, especially if it like works good, and like if it does open a lot better job at like leveling, then we'll be able to come through and hit this with the grader before we go to pave it. That might make the paving look even nicer. So we'll see. We'll see where we're gonna go from here. But I gotta finish up here. I need to doze all of this, the same height as over there, essentially, or close to it. Have that whole cut down there. I need to clear the top, the burden off of. Great. Basically all that. So that's kind of cool, except now like I said, the dirt don't delete from the sounds of it. So yeah. All right, let's pick you up. Let's throw you on there. Let's see. Does this work? And we'll find out. Let's, another thing we haven't done in a while. Let's go to our skill tree. Done. Increase jump. What's this? Increase production yield. I feel like that's the smartest thing to do, right? Reduce purchase cost of vehicles by 3%. I think we want to increase our yield. I think that's without a doubt what we want to do, right? Do I only have one high wall pylon? Is that right? Yeah? Okay. Well, looks like you're going to get some poles. You're going to get some poles for now. Oh my. Oh, this thing needs cleaned. Okay, guess I should have bought some of those. I thought we had some for some reason. Alright, so for the time being, we are... Guess I should have did a 1X. Uh, 535. Alright, so we'll just have to remember, like maybe we get some signs or something at some point. Pole only. Okay. Where is dirt coming? We need some stairs, huh? Sure. So that'll be our little loop system. Now we can back the truck up once we get grates and flooring across there. We can back that up, probably paint it black. We had signs, do coal only, something like that. And then it'll just keep cycling through. Turn it off. I thought that had a coal texture. I guess not. Very interesting. Okay. Alright, so that is said and done. I think more than anything we need floors. We need floor. All of this needs floors. Down there needs floors. Like everything. Gold, lithium. Good amount of steel. That's good. That is good. Yeah, a lot of steel. So we got the materials to make that, to make stuff. So I think we're gonna need a lot of walls too, but I think ideally I want to get the floors done. All this needs to be converted to steel. All this needs to be converted to steel. This eventually I'd like to make concrete. I think the first thing we'll do with concrete is make some ramps though. I feel like ramps are gonna help us like go down into our cut and keep them nice and smooth. Whoa. There we go. Nice. Oh, not what I had in mind, but man, isn't that pretty? Got that. That's a nice little archway. That is ugly. Like I said, we'll fix that. We're definitely going to have to get the power kind of, like I said, I think I want to kind of do it along that mountain range over there. We have our oil field. I think we're going to do right in there. So that'll be nice. That'll be some more dozer work. Trying to hold off on that stuff until the dozer upgrade, because I really want to give that a good test and a good trial run. We have all of this to go, which so now that we're not deleting dirt, that kind of changes things, right? Like ideally, I would have liked to start up there and then just push the dirt off the edge. This was going to be a place to expand to if I wanted. I mean, that's going to be way bigger than I think we need for us, but if we open up multiplayer, you know, well, when we do. So maybe we'll take the dozers and start pushing all this off that edge. I don't know. Definitely going to have to change the mindset on how to clear overburden, which I'm not going to lie, I'm excited for. I'm excited that it, you know, essentially don't delete it. I mean, I think there's going to be some deletion, like small percentage, but I'm happy that it stopped doing that because it's too easy just to say, yeah, well, you know, it's part of the game. But now that it's going to push the dirt, you really got to plan, because if I just, like, I have nowhere to push it. And if it works in my mind how they're describing, it'll be cool, because as you're pushing, and if you can keep your blade on a level thing, you know, it's going to fill in and take away, right? So it should make for smoother roads, question mark. I guess we'll see. We'll see. I feel like it's got to be getting close. I'm hoping. I am hoping it's getting close. All right. So I'm not gonna get set up in all this. Definitely need to. I think we're gonna, depending on what happens next update, it might be a bigger episode, because if the dozer updates out, I definitely want to play around with that. Yeah, see, I was thinking something like that. Just to try to help hide underneath it. Yeah, if the dozer update is out by next recording, we're gonna definitely do some dozing. How long we do dozing, I guess will depend on how well the update is. Also need to get steel, molten steel, turned into floors. I don't care about walls. We got 141 walls, not a ton, but floors is what we really need right now to transform this, finish that. We have to have a place to build all our steel production at. We have to enclose this. We need some grates. Yeah, we need a lot of steel floors. We still need to work on the water plant a little bit. Like, we want to turn that into a building. That garage is probably going to get ripped down and destroyed at some point, rebuilt first, because that was part of the challenge. Yeah, so that's our future plans. Obviously keep clearing the cut down there. Dozer work over there. That's where we're going to put our drilling for oil is gonna, as of the moment, is gonna be up there. Bunch of, yeah, you can see the cursor. We're gonna have to tunnel at some point because all the power from all these are gonna run down underneath here, probably on, you know, separate lines. So that way we can, you know, maxes is what, 56? Is that right? 5,600, whatever the max is we can have per line. So we'll have multiple lines running down to connect to all of this. We have all of this dozer work to do, clearing all this down to pay dirt, which in turn turns this into a ramp down into there. We have the other side of this plant over here that we need to level off. Yeah, so we have all of this we want to level off and smooth down. And then the road, you know, if the dozer work update works as good as, oh, my fingers are crossed. You know what? Even if it's half as good as what I'm hoping, I think that'll be a huge step in the right direction. So fingers are definitely crossed for that. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. If it comes out by next update, we're gonna do a bunch of that. If not, we're gonna get the steel production temporarily back up so we can get some floors being made so we can kind of more permanently make that section done. And then dozing and digging. So about the same as every episode, but making, digging, dozing, all the fun stuff. But yeah, so thank you. Sorry for the rant in the beginning, just kind of going through some shit, and thank you for being there. Hope you have a wonderful night, evening, and morning. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that for me. It really helps out a lot. And leave a comment below. Any comments help. So thank you. Have a wonderful time, a wonderful night, morning, evening, and see you next. Bye.